Right, so good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much to Professor Hakalehto for the very nice invitation. I'm not an expert in bioreactors, but my daughter, she studies here at veterinary medicine, so I asked her, how does the stomach of a cow function? So I know something about that now, so I think maybe it has an analogy to the innovation that we have here. You heard definitely very interesting details about the ABOWE technology today. I will not talk about that, but trying to put that into a broader perspective. I worked for the last 20 years very much with the European Commission and European organizations, and increasingly we hear about words like green jobs, green growth being importantly mentioned when we speak about these new innovations. So my intention is to put this innovation as part of the big picture to see what kind of consequences innovations like bioreactors could have. I've split my presentation into two parts. I speak slightly about the big picture, the international global development, and then I definitely speak about Finland and see what we can do here in Finland and what kind of opportunities do we have in bioeconomy. Now the word bioeconomy has two words, bio and economy. So I think we will also elaborate slightly on the economic side, which is very important. Now let me go back in time, as I think my presentation is also a soft landing to the next panel speech and discussion. I think our awareness about sustainability started about 50 years ago. You may remember Rachel Carson. She is one of a fragile lady, but very courageous. I think she was the one who actually raised environmental issues the first time into the global mind. And so 50 years ago, I think we started to understand what sustainability means in terms of economic losses, in terms of health. But 50 years later, if you look where we still are, the degradation, environmental degradation is very huge. I just picked here some let's say, few details on climate change, which is close to my field. The CO2 emissions, human-derived CO2 emissions from energy production, still increasing heavily. There's no sign that these CO2 emissions would go down. Well, the bioeconomy would definitely be one of the solutions to get the emissions down. There's a lot of numbers here, etc., but I would draw your attention to two very important let's say, statistics, which makes the picture slightly pessimistic in the sense that most of us, we here in the north, we use most of the resources. We are the rich people, and the poor people don't have any resources. But think about the future. Poor people want to be rich people. How does the trend look like? So injustice. Injustice is definitely one of the issues which we need to think about when we speak about sustainability. Injustice is the force that actually drive the emissions up and not down. We know that the emissions should go down, and you know the numbers better as me. You see here those as well. But the point is that injustice is one of the issues that need to be addressed if you want to see global solution coming up. Now, economy is the instrument that turns your desires, your needs into products, and economy is the instrument that interacts between humanity and the nature. Economy takes from the nature raw materials, turns into products, and satisfies your needs. And then economy puts back the waste into the nature. So most of the environmental problems, the climate change, all these problems are because the economy is imperfect. And somebody has sometimes once just characterized the economy with 4 U's. It's very unsustainable, it's unfair, and it's unstable, and it makes you unhappy. So that's the economy, the one which kind of serves us as human beings here on this planet. So when we think about solutions in, let's say, sustainability or in climate change, you need to think about which are actually just consequences of what we're doing. The source is economy. So you need to think about changing the economy at the same time when you think of solving the big environmental problems. I don't think there would never be a solution in environmental problems if you don't take the economy as a starting point. So what does it mean? Well, it means very, very simple. When we start to solve the big environmental problems, CO2 emissions, energy security, you need to create at the same time jobs and growth from the solutions. So if the solution is that we don't do anything with the jobs, let's just reduce emissions and you lose the jobs. It doesn't work. So when you reduce the emissions at the same time, you should be able to create jobs. This is the point. So the problem, its solutions becomes actually a solution for the economy as well. So once the economy grows, when you solve the problems, you can drop the bad jobs in a way. Now, in most cases, like in Finland, the economy grows only if you use more resources, which is a bad thing. But we have here Germany, and I just put Germany here on the left-hand side, which has been able to decouple the bad things and the good things. Good things is that you have more jobs, you have economic growth. The bad thing is that you would need more resources, more energy, more emissions. The German economy is growing without needing more, let's say basic material resources. And I think this may be for the future is that the economic growth needs to not cause bad things. If the growth causes bad things like emissions, pollutions, that will be a dead-end development. So in the future, I think, and increasingly more in the European Union, definitely, and worldwide, you would look on these big environmental problems and the solution as a whole. So think about energy. It's not just about kilowatt hours or the price of energy, but it is about investments that may create new jobs, that may create economic growth. And in that sense, you actually solve also the big problems that we have. So it's like hitting many birds with one stone, as they used to say. I think the bioreactor, which you're talking about today here, is definitely one of the solutions here. It's innovation which actually creates economic growth, jobs, and it solves the problems, CO2 emissions, energy, etc. I have never heard about new jobs from old industries. Old industries, they lose jobs, and the new jobs come from the new industries. This is the way economic growth comes from. Now, a few numbers about the future. Here's just showing you the big picture about the energy side, which is close to my heart. Just to remind you that during the next 20 years, the investments in energy would be close to 30,000 billion euros. 30,000 billion euros is pretty much. So think about having 30,000 billion euros in your pocket. It's very, very big money. So there's a clear paradigm shift from the old, like coal, etc., to the new technologies, where bioenergy is definitely one part here. If you look at bioenergy, it's there. So the clean technologies, and I'm just looking on electric investments, the clean technologies would be about 70% of the future investments. They are already today in Europe 70% of the new investments in power. Something that you may not observe because we very often reflect the past. So the present is a reflection of the past. So that's why we never understand about the future. So think about the future, most of the investments going to clean tech already today. So how does the future look like? So there's going on a major shift in energy, definitely toward clean energy. Now bioenergy is part of that, and we had a very good presentation. Just the colleague before me told about the EU dimensions about bioeconomy. But let me say, well, bioeconomy is very simple in the sense it always relies on local resources. Think about local resources, local know-how, local technology, and bioenergy is everywhere. So that definitely creates jobs. And if you look on the numbers from Europe for bioenergy, there's already, in broad sense, about 20 million jobs in bioeconomy. And it's a very important part of the whole economy. And it has many facets. It's not just energy. I mean, it has a very broad connection to the society. 2 days ago, the environment ministers in Brussels, they gave a very important statements about the greener Europe. And what they say there, let me just pick a few words. They say circular economy. That becomes important. Circular economy, well, that's big bioeconomy. Green jobs, millions of new jobs. So you understand that on a policy level, I think policymakers start to understand that, yes, bioeconomy may be one part of the big solutions to solve the problem, but at the same time create new opportunities for the economy. Now let me come then to Finland, and this is the kind of Finnish government's goals for some years ago, being one of their committees, and the minister at that time, Mr. Häkämies, has said, okay, Finland should rank highest in clean tech. And that's quite good. And within a few years, we should have 50,000 new jobs. That's excellent. And the turnover of the company should be doubled in about 3-4 years. So that's the kind of vision of the government, or the speech of the government, because the reality is slightly different. The reality looks not that good, but anyway, reality, let's take a look on realities, good realities first. Just to give you some examples how the bioeconomy works in large scale already in some cities. I think, well, bioenergy has been traditionally the renewable source in Finland. I picked 2 cities, Lahti and Kotka, to say that, well, even small cities, which doesn't have so much resources, like the capital region here, they can do tremendous things in the economy. So Lahti is known about waste, and they actually pick about 96% of the urban waste back from the landfills. Well, they don't arrive at the landfills anymore, and they make energy of that. Well, we could do something more even. I think biorefinery is definitely the way to upgrade the value of that waste. But it's just to say that, show that this city, which is a retarding city, they don't have much money, but they have a vision. They expect to reduce their CO2 emissions by 50% in 15 years. So half of their CO2 emissions with their local resources, using what they have. Kotka city, which is from Helsinki, about 100 kilometers, another example. And in their vision, that they have the word biorefinery. So an old city with a lot of paper and pulp industry thinks about, yes, let's do something with what we have again. And what they do is they create interesting public-private partnerships in bioenergy, in biorefineries, using Kotka. Well, Kotka is the big market. Well, there's about 40,000 people. Okay, they sell the energy there, but they also create technology. So Kotka has created, I think, about 500 new clean tech, high-tech working places, jobs, and they look forward to increase that part as well. So that's the good news. Now, the bad news then, if you put this into a global perspective, is that we have a feeling that Finland is going good. So clean tech is fine. We have big goals and the cities are doing well. But if we put this into international perspective, it shows that most of the countries around, they run faster than Finland. Okay, Finland is doing good, okay. But if you look on the energy demand, on the renewable use, on the CO2 emissions, how those are developing, we are not within, let's say, 30 best countries around here. So most of the Nordic countries, here we have also guests from Nordic countries, would do better. So we are reducing, we are getting better, but others do better. So it means that there's still opportunities for Finland definitely to get better and get more jobs out of these developments. All right. So what is the Finnish challenge then? Altogether, and how should energy be related more and more to EUs? I think Finland is, as every Finn, the foreigners don't know yet that, but anyway, this is inside information to you as well. So the point is that Finland has never been in a recession like this one. Now, today somebody said, Minister, that since the Second World War, we are facing the worst times ever. So economy is stalling, everything is going down, unemployment is getting out of hands. So now is the question, how could the invention of Professor Hakalehto help the Finnish economy? Yes. And we did some work. So just looking at some critical numbers is that to understand why energy may be a very important part of the Finnish kind of recovery is to understand that we import most of our energy. Now, foreigners flying over Helsinki, there's just trees. You don't find the city. It's difficult. So there's so much bioenergy around here. But in spite of that, 70% of our energy comes from outside. And that's, just to take some critical numbers, is 8.5 billion a year. That is the so-called Finnish pitkän kestävyysvaje. That's the long-term imbalance in the public budget. Think about it. The amount of energy we buy, if we would produce it ourselves, that would solve all the economic problems we have. in the public budget. Okay, let me put it even better. Then there's going through the Finnish government budget. The government subsidizes fossil fuels and inefficient energy use by 2.5 billion. So what is 2.5 billion in terms of something concrete? Well, it is about what we need to pay for reducing our emissions from today's level tomorrow with 80%. 80% reduction is the 2050 goal for Finland. Okay. And we could do it tomorrow with the money that we're spending as subsidies to support fossil fuels in Finland. So the money is there, there's no problem. Money is there to make a change. And if we make a change, there's a reward, which is something between 0 and 8.5 billion. And useless to say that the domestic energy sources in Finland per capita are the best in Europe. Okay, best in Europe. So that's the point. So that's why I quoted some professors from other universities. We have some economists here, some environment policies. 10 professors to think about, okay, what could be the solution now for Finland? What's the best solution for Finland? Take into account that we are facing big economic problems. Take into account that we are using very little of our energy resources actually, and there's a big potential. Okay, and this is the solution. So what we find is very simple. I don't go all to details. You have the web address, but let's say the solution is that half of the solution is energy efficiency. Energy efficiency in the sense because it's very cheap. More with less. More with less is important. Other part of the solution, the half is renewables. And of renewables, definitely bioenergy in different forms, not just the forest energy, but bioenergy in different forms, the waste, agrobiomass seeds, bioenergy, biogas, those are very important. So bioenergy in the short term is dominating. In long term, 2050, about half of the problem would be from bioenergy. The numbers are there, and it shows that if we would go for that, there may be, you never know, but may be up to 50 to 90,000 new jobs created. Germany, which has chosen this way, has created 400,000 jobs already, and they expect to have 400,000 more within the next 15 years. Denmark, which goes for 100% renewable by 2050, will create 70,000 jobs in clean energy and bioeconomy. So this is just to say that when we speak about energy, well, it's not just about maybe kilowatt hours or cubic meters gas, but it's really also to solve some of the fundamental problems that we have in society. And I think this is the nice solution. Let's use our problems to create solutions. And let's, in this sense, solve also the big global challenges we have ahead. With these words, I thank you very much for your attention.